Guys, RobberBat1 here, coming at you with a new Yu-Gi-Oh video. And in today's Yu-Gi-Oh video, we are going to be doing a Konami Fix the Ban List video, a segment on my channel where I like to talk about cards that are limited, semi-limited, banned, and unlimited, and basically discuss where I believe they should be on the list, or if they should even be on the list at all. And I felt like, seeing as it's getting closer and closer to the point where we're going to have a ban list, I wanted to talk about a card that is actually on the banned section of the list, and I personally feel like shouldn't be in that banned section. And this is basically an Xyz monster that isn't Lavarval Chain. I'm getting that out there now. I'm not talking about Lavarval Chain because that card can stay on the list for all I care. And it is Daigusto Emeral. Now, why am I talking about Daigusto Emeral, and where do I feel Daigusto Emeral should be on the list? Well, I personally feel Daigusto Emeral should be at 1, and I have a couple of reasons for this. Now, I did talk about this briefly in my ban list prediction video last month, but I felt like it was time to actually make a Konami Fix the Ban List segment to just get my point across a bit more and give you guys an actual video dedicated to my reasonings behind this. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, what's the first reason for why I feel like Daigusto Emeral should be limited to 1? Well, first, you shouldn't have this card at more than 1. It's essentially the kind of like a max C, in my personal opinion. If you have this card at more than 1, it's very broken, because you're able to just keep recycling another copy of it to keep getting more resources back. But I feel like this card at 1 is actually fine, because you can't keep getting those resources back with only 1. Because if you're playing 1, you're only going to have the 1 to recycle resources, which is what I'm trying to get across. Because sure, it's not the biggest reason for why this card should be at 1, but it is a reason nonetheless. It being banned, the original reason why this card was banned was essentially because you kept recycling resources with 2 in the extra deck in the Zodiac deck, by recycling cards like Elder Entity Norden and another Daigusto Emeral to essentially keep gaining resources off that one Norden to gain more and more resources in the long run to essentially keep gaining your combo off further and further. And I personally feel with the card at 1, the card won't be able to abuse itself as much as that, and also without Norden, the card can't abuse a card like that, which is a very big point as well, because one of the main reasons why this card was banned was because of Norden being able to summon itself, summon a level 4 from grave, then to go into Daigusto Emeral to recycle Norden again, and then just keep going and going and going and going until you have your entire combo on board and you're unstoppable. And that's just one of the reasons why I feel like it should be limited. Sure, it being at 0 is there because of this, but having Daigusto Emeral at 1 stops it from being able to be abused in this type of fashion. Now, I personally feel like it shouldn't have been banned to begin with, because it was only banned because of you used 2 in the extra deck and kept recycling your resources over and over again. But with it at 1, you can't do that. You can only gain 1 recyclability, 1 out of all the other recyclabilities you have. So 1 recyclability is better than none, and I feel like it being at 1 is fine, because it also gives a boost to these rank 4 decks that have kind of gone out of favor, because all the really good rank 4s are currently on the ban list. Like, the best rank 4s on the ban list currently are all of them, really, because you've got an Exciton Knight on the ban list, you've got Lavarval Chain on the ban list, you've got Shockmaster, you've got Ptolemaeus, you've got the best rank 4s in the game on the ban list, and I feel like this is the only one that doesn't really deserve to be there, because it only really is on there because it can recycle things. And that's kind of one of the points that I wanted to make, because it's not a card that really does deserve to be there, because it's only there because you ran it on multiples, and running it at 1 doesn't really mean you can gain infinite resources back. So that's kind of the first reason that I wanted to talk about. Now, the next reason that I wanted to talk about for why Daigusto Emeral should basically be at 1 again, is because there aren't a lot of rank 4 decks out there that can utilize this card. Like, let's look at the rank 4 decks currently in the meta that could potentially somewhat play this card. Let's see. Magicians. There's not really anything else, is there? Like, all the old rank 4 decks that like to abuse these Xyz monsters, like to abuse all these broken Xyz monsters on the list, like to abuse the mechanic of Xyz in general, aren't competitive anymore. Like, there are decks that could there are rogue decks that could potentially use this and make them a little more consistent by recycling their resources, such as Tellarknights, maybe Yosenju, what else? Like, Tellarknight, Yosenju, Evil Sworn. Like, there's not a lot out there. Like, all these decks that are really old that couldn't really utilize this, outside of Magicians, aren't as powerful as they once were. And even if you put it in Magicians, there's still a lot of resources that you've got to take into account, because the Magician X deck is still really tight as well. So you've also got to take that into account when you're thinking about this as well, because you've got to look at the bigger picture when you're looking at the like a card like Daigusto Emeral. Like, what decks can utilize it really well and make them broken? And the answer to that is not a lot. Like, there's not really any decks out there that can utilize Daigusto Emeral as powerful as it once was in decks like Zodiac. And with Norden banned, the card is even less consistent, because you can't just use instant fusion, summon a monster from the graveyard, and Xyz into it to then recycle your resources. You can't do that anymore. Plus, now that we're in Master Rule 4, you're not able to have multiple Xyz monsters on the board. So if you were to make it just right off the bat, you would be taking up your extra monster zone to essentially recycle 3 cards and get a draw, which isn't great and isn't very consistent in general at all. So looking at it just from a standpoint of rank 4 decks that could utilize it, there isn't a lot, and there ain't really any that could make it fully broken. Like, I suppose you could use it, like, decks that could maybe use it, like, I could see Trickstar maybe using it if they're able to get, like, 2 Candina on the board, or maybe Invoked if you're somehow getting 2 Alistair on the board. But those aren't rank 4 based decks. These are decks that constantly do use other mechanics. Like, Trickstar use the burn mechanic and the link mechanic, or Invoked use the link mechanic and the fusion mechanic. Like, these decks don't utilize Xyz, and that's kind of my point here. Daigusto Emeral isn't a card that really does a lot outside of its main mechanic, and seeing as there aren't a lot of decks that can't utilize this mechanic, I feel like the card isn't really necessary to be banned anymore. So that's one of the points as well. So, and like, there are other reasons as well why this card doesn't need to be banned. Like, it's like the majority of reasons are, like, you can't utilize it in a load of decks. Like, there are so many decks out there that you can't actually utilize this card in anymore, so there's not really any need for it to be on the ban list. And like, another reason, if you put it to 1, it's not going to be as abused, because you can't use another Daigusto Emeral to recycle the first Daigusto Emeral and go into those resources. And 2, like, Zodiac is dead, and 3, what are you using it in? What cards are you recycling in a deck like this? Like, there aren't a lot of decks like out there that can utilize this. Like, I suppose Lightsworn is another deck that you could utilize this with, but even still, like, this card doesn't need to be banned anymore. Like, there are so many things out there that do need to be banned, but Daigusto Emeral going from 0 to 1 makes a lot of sense to me, because if you don't have, like, there aren't a lot of decks that can abuse it. You're not able to use the card to its fullest potential anymore, because Norden's banned, rank 4 decks in general aren't as popular anymore, and there's a lot of other mechanics out there that are utilizing different things. So Daigusto Emeral isn't a card that needs to be banned anymore. But guys, that is just my personal opinion. Like, with Norden ban, with all these other decks out there that can't utilize Daigusto Emeral as well as anymore, like, the only decks that can really utilize it right now are, like, Lightsworn and Magicians, but Magicians don't really put much in the grave outside of extra deck cards, and if you've done that, you're winning the game anyway, so you're going to just kill your opponent. And Lightsworn, just to recycle maybe, like, a Wolf and a Minerva, I guess, but this card at 1 does not need to be banned anymore, and that is just my personal opinion. But guys, what is your thoughts on this? Do you think Daigusto Emeral should still be banned? Do you think it's too broken to be off the list? Tell me all of that in the comment section below, because I want to hear your opinions on this. I personally feel that because Norden being banned, because Zodiac being dead, because the amount of decks that can't actually utilize this card, and because if this card was at 1 you couldn't just continuously gain infinite resources, it doesn't doesn't need to be banned. But tell me what you think of that in the comment section below. Tell me what you thought of the video in the comment section, and tell me if you want to see more Konami fix the ban list in the comment section below, because I want to hear your thoughts, your opinions, and if you like this segment, I'll just do more and more and more, because I like this segment and it's very enjoyable to do. But yeah, guys, that's the video. As I said, don't forget to comment to give me your thoughts. Press the like button if you enjoyed it. If you want to see more Yugioh content from me, don't forget to press the subscribe button. And if you want to be notified of any videos that I upload or streams that I do, which I usually do on Thursday, 8 PM UK time, don't forget to press the notification button as well. But yeah, guys, Daigusto Emeral 1. I feel like it should happen. What do you guys think? Konami, please fix the ban list, and I will see you guys next time. I'm waiting for you, Emeral. I'm waiting for you. Thanks for watching, guys, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this video for more Yu-Gi-Oh videos, and check out the links in the description for the previous video, and the link to my Facebook page where you can see previous videos that I've posted there, and any other information that I may have posted there. I hope to see you guys next time, and thanks for watching.